Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the January meeting of the Greater Dallas section of TechSite. I'm the president, Joseph Marchione, for those of you that don't know. And let's go ahead and start our meeting today. Some of the things that we're going to be getting to before we get to our feature presentation, we're going to talk about the future calendar for this year, committee updates for the committee chairs, the new bylaws that are being passed, along with our bank updates. All right, for our future meetings, for the foreseeable future, we will be doing the Zoom meetings at least through April. As you can see, in February, we already have a presenter, Robert Saylor. He'll be speaking about the recent changes to the NETCD. And with March, we'll also have Wesley Kumpfer speaking about the safety tools presentation in March. We're still looking for a presenter in April. And in May, hopefully, we'll all be attending the spring meeting in Corpus Christi. If that does get canceled or postponed or if nothing happens in May, we will plan to do a regular district meeting there as well. As some of you noticed, there is an event that we usually run in the spring that's not on that schedule. That's because our golf tournament, the officers have decided to move it to the fall. We decided that due to the recent issues that we're having, it'll be best if we just plan to have this in the fall. We're also planning to have it sometime in either September or October. Hopefully it'll be a little cooler towards the end of September or October. In addition, we are still planning to get with the Fort Worth section and have the joint meeting with them, hopefully in the Grand Prairie location. We're still in the preliminary talks with them regarding how and what month we plan to do that. And finally, in November, many of you know that the ITS Texas and TechSite are having their joint meeting in November. Right now, it's looking closer towards the first couple of weeks of November, and it's also going to be held here in Dallas. So I know many of you have volunteered last year to help Pam with the Denton meeting. For this year, the Dallas one, I will be the LAC for this meeting, so be prepared to be asked again. So I'm sure a lot of you enjoyed working on the Denton one, and we get to do it again. And hopefully in November, we will actually be able to have the meeting. In terms of the committees, I'm aware that I haven't gotten to a lot of the chairs yet. I'm going to be reaching out to the chairs for each of the committees next week, so we can discuss what the plans are for the year, set some goals and some things for each of you. So all the chairs for the committees, be on the lookout for emails or messages from me regarding that. One key change here in 2021 is our new section bylaws. They should have gone into effect as of January 1st of this year. A lot of the changes that were made were to make our bylaws uniform throughout not only the Texas branch, but also throughout international. These bylaws will be posted on our website. And when they are on the website, I will be making an announcement email to everybody that if you'd like to go read those bylaws, you'll be able to read them. Brian?
Hey, just want Chad and all the other officers for leaving me some healthy budgets in our general account and scholarship accounts, as you can see on the screen. So that's really all I wanted to say.
I'm still working on that pizza party, but I haven't gotten it yet. So, all right. That is all the general announcements that we have. I will now throw it over to Chad to introduce our speaker for the day.
Today we have Chris Walters with DART speaking to us on the DART Silverline. Chris Walters has been in the community affairs at DART for 11 years and has started in 2003. He is the community affairs representative for Richardson, Plano, and parts of Dallas, including downtown Dallas and North Dallas. He graduated from Baylor University and lives in Rockwell with his wife and kids. Chris, over to you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that introduction. Can everyone hear me?
We got you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Just 2 seconds. My name is Chris Walters. I'm in Community Affairs at DART, and I want to say thank you so much for having me on here with you all today. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. I have been at home for the holidays with my kids for 3 weeks, so I just want to say, trust me when I say I am very happy to be on here with you all today. I am ready to transition into 2021 and get back to work. And we have a lot of work going on this year with the Silverline. We've had a lot of work going on, period, with the Silverline. But this is an exciting time because 2020 and 2019 we're heavy on design and meeting with stakeholders and businesses and residents, talking about all the things that are going to be going on. And this is the year where really the boots are hitting the ground. They've already hit the ground, and they are going to be hitting the ground in full force and getting this project up and running. So today we're going to look at the project from a kind of a high level view of the line in general. But that doesn't mean that if you have a question that's very, surgical to a certain part of this line or project, please submit it because I myself will try to answer it to the best of my abilities. I also have Marvin Jackson, who's the Diversity and Compliance Manager with AWH, and they are the design builder for the Silverline. And he is the community affairs liaison. So he is with me and he's got my back. And so we'll do our best to answer any questions you have, anything that we can't answer for you today, things that are maybe still work in progress or evolving and changing, as a lot of parts of this project are, we will get back to you. And so we'll make sure that you don't leave today with an unanswered question. If you do, then we will get back to you. So let's go ahead and get started. So that is me. That is pre-COVID Chris. I have gained a little weight during this time at home, snacking in front of my computer every day. That is our cottonbelt@dart.org email. And that actually is the best way you can reach out to me. And I'll make sure you all have my email by the end of this presentation as well. But you can submit questions, comments, concerns to that. That is our formal line of communication of working with the public on getting information back and forth. And there is my direct line, 214-749-3280. I've been working remotely for some time, and so I'm not sitting there at that phone line, but I do check my voicemails, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, I think everyone here is probably familiar with the Silverline, some more than others. But this is the line, and you can see it is a wonderful east to west, west to east line going from DFW Airport. Really quick, Chad, can you see me moving my mouse? Some of these platforms, you can see a mouse moving. You can. Yes. Great. Okay, because sometimes I have to ask people to kind of just work with me and look at what I'm talking about. This works great. So let's go ahead and start out here in East Plano. You'll see, actually, before I do that, you'll see that this line is broken up into 3 segments: CB1, CB2, CB3. That's for the Cotton Belt. This is the Silver Line now, but it is on the historic Cotton Belt rail line. And that is what the line was called up until just about a couple years ago, or a year and a half or so ago, when we changed it officially to the Silver Line. And so anyway, we start over here in we'll start in CB3. Even though it's numerically out of order, I like to start over here in Plano, East Plano, with our East End terminus. And the line then goes through Plano, links up at 12th Street there with our current light rail alignment, and then moves south down to City Line Bush, still going adjacent to our current red and orange line alignment, technically the red line. And then it's going to be then moving over to the to the west, to UT Dallas, who is getting their own station. Really great for the campus there. Every time I go to UT, or when I was going to UTD before everything happened and interacting with the students, they were all super excited until they found out that they would be graduated before the line opened. So I just told them that they can come back as alum and enjoy it, or extend their educational years there to enjoy it. It then moves along west to through North Dallas, and then there is the Knoll Trail Station. Then you'll see this line, which divides North Dallas from Addison and going into CB2. And so there's our Addison Station, which is right there adjacent to our Addison Transit Center. It'll then move west and then link up at downtown Carrollton, where we have the Green Line. Real exciting there. Then it's going to move on west, go through Capel, and then go to Cypress Waters, and that huge, awesome development out there, and have a station there at Cypress Waters, and then it will keep on moving down to DFW North, or DFW Airport, with a DFW North station, and then we'll go down into Terminal B. And then you'll see this little dotted line going that way. That's the Tex Rail, which is essentially, that's the cotton belt that goes to downtown Fort Worth. So there will be a great connectivity between the Silver Line and the Tex Rail, sort of like how up until now, the only real connectivity has been the TRE, which is in downtown Dallas. So this really expands on connectivity between the two big cities of the Metroplex. Let's go ahead and move into some facts on the line. This is a $1.266 billion design build project. That line that we just looked at over the map is 26 miles going through the 7 cities of Addison, Carrollton, Capel, Dallas, Grapevine, Plano, and Richardson. There will be 10 rail stations, 4 rail connections, the green, the orange, the red, and the Tex Rail. And it is now scheduled for a June 2023 revenue service. That has slipped. Some of you all have probably seen something a little bit earlier in that, but the project scope has expanded. There's been some redesigns and upgrades and things of that nature. So because of that, it has kind of pushed off the revenue service date just a little bit. Design build for the Silver Line is 72% complete as of January 1st of this year. Silver Line vehicle design is 100% complete as of January 1st of this year. And we will have some great pictures to show you of the vehicle and design. So here is our schedule. And you can see here in 2019, we were out having many meetings, art and design for the stations, betterments with our neighborhoods and adjacent residents. And a lot of that, of course, went into 2020 as we were wrapping a lot of those parts of the project up. And then you can see now here, down here with the construction, excuse me, Q4, really, getting people out there, getting the old rail replaced with new rail, or getting the new rail dropped off, getting the old rail ripped out. And then, of course, this year and next year will be the construction of the project. So I'm going to show you some pictures of our stations and bridges and things of that nature. So those are kind of like the highlights of the line. I don't want to just show you random segments of the line. We want to show you kind of the highlights. First, I want to just tell you about the stations that you're going to take a look at. They all have a very unique look and feel to them, where and at the same time also being streamlined so that they're not too dynamically different. But you will see differences between a lot of these stations because we had an art and design program that DART has actually used many times with our stations and the light rail system. And we did that the same thing here with the Silver Line. And each station had its own committee and people that are really specific to those areas, and a lot of people with artistic backgrounds, and many other walks of life, and brought together to work with an artist to determine what these stations would look like and how they could reflect the areas that they were in. I am artistically challenged. My mom still likes to think that I was a good drawer as a kid, but I really wasn't. She was just being nice. And so I cannot, I cannot speak to what an artist would tell you about these stations. We do have, if you're interested in any of these stations, we do have the art design presentations that I can share with you. If you really want to get into the weeds, or not weeds, that's not a good term, but into the details about every station, and the pillars, the fencing, and what the artist's vision was for every station. So again, anything you all are wanting after this, please let me know. I love to share information so you can know more and more about this project. So anyway, before I ramble on more, this is DFW North Station. And so you can see a few different shots here of what the station from a bird's eye view would look like, all the way down to when you're sitting there waiting on the train, and you look down at your feet and what the pavers will look like. So there's a picture of DFW North Station. This is Cypress Water Station. As you can see here, you'll start to notice that, everything looks very clean and crisp, but you can already see the differences in design. Every station will be unique. Now, I'll try not to move too fast, but I'll move fast long enough so that I'm not at the end of this presentation being told to, cut it. This is and of course, I told you there will be some bridge pictures mixed into the station pictures. This is our Capel Beltline Bridge. So this is what the line will look like there in Capel at the bridge. Here is downtown Carrollton Station. You can see here, this is the green line. So really, really cool for downtown Carrollton. They're going to have the north-south connectivity, the east-west connectivity. That's going to be a real exciting place right there. And so you can see some of these other pictures of what the station will look like. Again, very unique pavers and fencing to each station and pillars. Here is the Addison Station. And again, this is right there next door to our transit center where we already have buses coming and going. Addison is very excited. That's a city with a lot of commercial and a lot of business coming in and out, people flying in and out all day long for meetings. So I know that Addison is very excited to have this station there. Here's our bridge going over Midway. Like the arches. Here is Knoll Trail Station. Starting at Knoll Trail, these are stations that I personally got to be involved with. Like when Chad introduced me, I work with Richardson, Plano, and parts of Dallas, including downtown North Dallas. So I got to watch the committees in action as they worked on these stations, and it was a real neat experience. Seeing them over the course of several meetings talk about the history of the area, and how they wanted that reflected in the station. And of course, with North Dallas being this area that, it's got a lot of business right there close to the toll road, but then you drive over just a couple minutes and it's got beautiful trees and it's just a nice kind of mix there. So that was one thing that they were really focusing on with Knoll Trail, mixing nature and people and progress. Here's Hillcrest Road. This is where some of that redesign that I mentioned a minute ago with the service changing Hillcrest and then Coit here in a minute. I won't go into too many details here, but this is what the line going over Hillcrest and Hillcrest being, depressed there will look like. Here is Coit Road. There have been some big changes from the initial design to the final design, working with many people there to come up with some good solutions on some tough situations, but things are looking good and moving forward. Here is UT Dallas Station. Again, real neat station, being there, connecting another college I've joked in years past that between all the colleges and hospitals connected to DART, if you're a student or if you're injured, it's good to be on DART because you've got many options of where you can go. But yes, UT Dallas Station is going to be a wonderful station for the students there. They have a nice centerpiece with the UTD logo here that kind of acts like a beacon, kind of leading people from the school to the station and the station to the school. And at night, it's going to look really neat. Here's City Line Bush Station. An area that is already awesome. It's just going to get even more awesome. I'm a big fan of City Line Bush and that whole development. So it's going to be really neat once the Silver Line opens up there, connecting Red Line, Orange Line, and the east to west. Here is a picture of what the US 75 bridge will look like. There's George Bush up here and the City Line development over here. As you can see, some more arches. Here's another picture or rendering of what that would look like. Not just an arch, but a trapezoidal arch. I'd like to just add in there. Here are some renderings of what things are looking like, of how the 12th Street elevated station vertical circulation will look like there at the 12th Street station. Because, you know, our 12th Street station, that's where the line then peels off from the Silver Line. I'm sorry, from the Red and Orange Line. And so you'll see here, this is the red and silver. This is the Red and Orange Line, and this is the elevated circulator, so that people down here from the 12th Street station can get back and forth up to each station. And so this is still being worked on, and so things are going to be finalized pretty soon. And so more to come on that, but this is a pretty good idea of what you can expect there. And this is that 12th Street at-grade station I was just mentioning. If you can see here, this is the Red and Orange Line, and the circulator will be back over here, leading people back and forth from the station. And then Shiloh Road Station. And this was a real neat station. I got to work on all of them, but again, this one kind of stood out. You'll notice the color. There's some colors that kind of pop out at you. It's very unique. And if you look up here, you will see the largest electrical socket you will more than likely ever see in your life. Not working, of course, so no one will be electrocuted at that, mainly just for looks and selfies. But with our Encore substation, that is not ours, but the Encore substation that is right there south of the station, the group that worked on this station really wanted electricity, power, connectivity to be a part of the theme of this station. So I do believe this will be one of our more unique looking stations, and it in my opinion just kind of adds to the neatness of the art and design program, because it shows that the committees and the artists really did have a lot of creative ability with these stations. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the vehicle. The vehicles are 100% done. They are being put together. I'd like to say right now as we speak. I don't know, they might be on lunch, but they are being worked on right now. And this is what you will see when the Silver Line is open for business, and you will be getting on. It's, as you can see here, we have the cab car and then the passenger car. We have the engine compartment here in the middle, with another than passenger car and cab car. And so this vehicle has the ability to be driven from each side. So when this gets to the end of the line, like in Shiloh Road, that's when the conductor will then move down to the other end and then take the train back in the other direction. Oh. And some details about the vehicle itself. It's equipped with 222 seats. This includes 194 fixed seats and 28 flip-up seats. Some of the seats are arranged with a table in between the 4 seats. It can accommodate up to 485 passengers. It has a wide entrance doorway with visual and auditory warning devices, low floor boarding. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. It's got USB phone chargers for each seat. It also has, as you can see, great LED lighting. The overhead luggage carriers. Again, this line is going to the airport, so we want to make sure there is plenty of room for luggage. And then, of course, when you're reading, going back and forth from the airport, we want to have great interior lighting for everybody. Back to that low floor vehicle. You can see that, they are meant to accommodate easy access of wheelchairs, bicycles, luggage, etc. So you can see that we have designated areas for the wheelchair. We have bicycle racks. We want it to be a comfortable ride for everyone that is getting on there. So we have the dedicated spaces that are meant for everyone. Now you can see here some of the pictures of the vehicle as it is being worked on. The pieces, the actual parts in the vehicle come from Europe, but they are being manufactured here in the United States. So it's pretty fascinating to see this. Next time my wife asks me to build a desk for my son's room, I won't complain, because I'm sure it's a lot easier than building one of these things. So hats off to them. I can't wait to see these things in their completion. Sometimes it's kind of hard to believe that when you see this is what turns into what everyone is going to be writing back and forth every day. And if I'm going too fast, I apologize. I can share these slides and pictures and presentation after the meeting with anyone who would like it. Okay, so there were some great pictures of the line, the vehicles being built right now. So now just letting everyone know that this is subject to perhaps change a little bit by the time revenue service begins, but this is going to be pretty close to what is going to be probably set in stone. The weekday service is currently scheduled to be from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. The service hours could be as early as 5 a.m. or as late as 11 p.m. There will be 30-minute peak and 60-minute non-peak times for this vehicle. Peak and non-peak, for anyone who's not familiar with that is basically like rush hour and normal time. Rush hour, like for instance on the light rail, just to use that as an example, anytime between about 5:30 and 9:30 in the morning. Those are our peak times when everyone's going to work and we have a higher ridership. And then after about 9:30, it slows down, and the frequency of the light rail vehicles slows down until about 3:30, when then peak then starts back up for the evening crush load of people going home, and then that goes on until about 6:30 p.m. And then it goes back to non-peak. So again, just from seeing a lot of this that you're looking at on the screen, a lot of this is going to mirror a lot of what we currently do, but there are a few tweaks, and it could be tweaked a little bit further by the time we go into revenue service of 2023. Now, this is another aspect of the line that's really neat. It's the hike and bike trail. It's funny because I've been involved with bike trails in the bike program at DART for many, many years, and going out to the North Central Texas Council of Governments to their bike pedestrian meetings. And years ago, you would just see how Dallas in the nation was really just kind of raked over the coals about bike and pedestrian connectivity. We were always, kind of being beat up on compared to, the Portlands and the Bostons. But this right here is, in my opinion, it's going to be real game changer. As you can see, this is a seamless bike and pedestrian trail connection that connects all these cities running adjacent to this line. And when you think about all of the businesses, residents, residential communities, apartments that are going to be connected to this, it's going to be really great for everyone in this region. So I do see the Dallas area Dallas area, not just the city of Dallas, but the Dallas area, really going up the charts in bike and pedestrian friendliness versus a lot of places in the country. So as you can see here, get your bikes ready and get in shape, because this is going to be a great seamless trail running adjacent along the line. North Central Texas Council of Government is working hard on this design, and so we're working closely with them and AWH to get this thing finalized and get it all done. So more to come on that. And I will tell you also on how you can stay up to date with updates on things like the hike and bike trail and other things that we've been talking about here. This is a typical cross section of what you would see along the hike and bike trail. You can see here in the middle, that is the Silver Line. In areas where there will be residential, this is what the betterment wall would look like. The betterment walls, those are the walls that, like I mentioned, residential areas. That's where DART went above and beyond what was recommended in the FEIS, the Final Environmental Impact Statement, when it comes to sound and visual mitigation. The betterment walls are a little bit higher. Just give you a little bit, we're mainly talking about the hike and bike trail here, but just in case you're looking at betterment walls, and some of you probably know what betterment walls, and some of you might not be familiar with those, but that's what the wall would look like. So then when you have the hike and bike trail here running adjacent to the tracks, they'll hear the train, but they won't see it. And again, the sound with these walls, actually, when I say they hear it, they won't hear it the same way someone would next to the line where there's no betterment wall. There'll be a very big difference there. So, and then you can see some of the vegetation. The vegetation is going to look very different along the line. We had a lot of different communities and areas doing a voting process on what vegetation would look like, what the walls would look like if they're getting walls. So kind of like our stations with art and design being very unique to each station, you'll notice that where we had the betterments program and vegetation voting, everything's going to be looking a little unique to the different areas, and we wanted it to reflect what people in those areas wanted. So we wanted to get them involved and get their vote on what they get. So when you see the construction going on, these are some of the vehicles that you will see. It's not limited to just these vehicles, but these are the main vehicles you will see. Front end loader, track hoe excavator, bobcat, motor grader, track loader, backhoe, and a crane. And with our construction activity, a big thing for DART and AWH is public access and maintaining as much normal public access as possible. There'll be times when there will be disruptions. Obviously, there's construction going on, and it's the construction of a major rail alignment. But we and AWH will work very hard to mitigate closures and also work with anyone next to any of these possible closures to work with them on doing what we can to help mitigate traffic around and just try to keep things moving as smoothly as possible. But yes, maintaining business access, maintaining home and community access, maintaining access for emergency vehicles, very important, and maintaining pedestrian access. Here's some of the signs that you can expect to see out there with construction going on, and when you see any type of road closures. So part of the maintenance of traffic is the schedules and notification deadlines, lane restrictions, closures, detours. I want to let everyone here know that if you see any of these signs vandalized or not looking right or on the ground, please let us know. I have a phone number that I'm going to give to you all before the end of this meeting that you can call. It's our construction hotline, and you can say, hey, I saw this sign at in Richardson, at a certain intersection, and it was, someone broke it in half. I mean, you never know in this world, and please let us know ASAP, and we'll get out there and get that fixed, because signage is very, very important. And of course, along with signage and access, probably, the biggest thing is safety. If you don't have safety, you don't have anything. Like with your personal self, you don't have your health, you don't have anything. Well, in this case, when it comes to transit, yeah, without safety, you don't have anything. So, we are big with working with the community, big with working with the schools. We have a lot of schools that are nearby, and so we want to make sure that we get out there and work with the schools and get information out to the parents and to the kids directly on construction safety. Stop, look, and listen. I won't go through all of these for you all. A big one, I think that it really sometimes adults suffer from just as much as the kids is, the devices. Make sure you remove your earbuds, turn volume down. I can't tell you how many people in downtown Dallas I've witnessed almost get run over by the trains because they were all on their phones and zoned in. And we all do it, including myself. So I'm not trying to excuse myself from it. Luckily, the trains move very slow through downtown Dallas, so the trains can stop pretty quick. But along the Silver Line, and of course with construction, that's not always going to be the case. So everyone has to kind of have some personal accountability when it comes to safety. So construction notifications, this is big. This has been big over the last several months and will be big over this year on how we let the public know about what's going on. We have our construction activity notifications. We do door hangers specific to the areas that we're doing work in, emails, social media, the DART and Archer Western Herzog AWH project websites. We have information on there. We have DART Silverline project newsletters. We have our at a glance fact sheets. I'll show you a few of those in just a minute. We have our quarterly design and construction community meetings, and we actually are gearing up for our next round of quarterly meetings in February. So more to come on that. We'll have all that information posted on our website soon when the dates and login information is ready to share. But I definitely recommend everyone here to look at the next quarterly meeting in quarterly meeting in February to get the information. We'll have a lot of construction information in the next quarterly meeting. We have stakeholder meetings with businesses and residents. That's a normal ongoing process that we'll be having throughout this project until the very end. And we'll be meeting with people for years to come on trying to get people to ride the Silver Line or encouraging people to ride the Silver Line. So, we won't just pack up and head out. We are a neighbor with businesses and residents, and it'll switch from construction to ongoing maintenance and just being a good neighbor with everyone. There's our project hotline. I wanted to let everyone know. That's the 972-833-2856. That's the number that you can call if you see anything going on out there with construction that you're concerned about, or you have a question about. You want to know what's going on at a certain intersection, or maybe up the block from where you live, or if you see something that you're not liking, please give that number a call, and we'll get on that real quick for you. Here's some of these fact sheets, and you can find these on our website and on our webpage for the Silver Line, and I'll give you that information here in just a second. And so we have these fact sheets, really great information for every one of our stations and the different cities. And you can see the timelines, the mode of access, the facts at a glance. Our Silver Line webpage really has a lot of great information on both macro and micro levels. So I definitely encourage you to jump on there and read up more about the line. As you can see here, here's Dallas, and of course the line doesn't have a station in Coppell; it goes through Coppell. You'll see here at Carrollton. So they are tailor-made for each city, and they show the pictures of the stations and again comment on everything. I'm trying to look. I'm needing glasses, so I cannot see everything. That the writing is a little bit too small, so I'm not going to sit here and squint and try to read things off of this slide for you. I definitely encourage you to jump on there on our website and check these out. So that website, by the way, is www.dart.org/Silverline. So, there you can get all the information about the line. You can look at the final environmental impact statement, great light reading. Just kidding. That's a lengthy read there, but it's got a wealth of just wonderful information on this line. You can click links to our past quarterly meetings, betterments meetings. It is really just the go-to place for everything Silver Line. It's an action-packed webpage. There is our email, the cottonbelt@dart.org email. We encourage you to attend meetings virtually. You can sign up for project alerts at www.dart.org/silverline. There's our DART hotline again, 972-833-2856. And you can also mail your community engagement representative, me, the old-fashioned way. So if you just love to send letters via United States Postal Service, they will get to me, or they'll get to my desk. I will say this, since I'm not at my desk, that actually might not be the best way right now to get a hold of me. I'll go ahead and add to this for everyone here. My email is cwalters@dart.org. So you can also email me along with the cottonbelt@dart.org email if you have any questions. And if I don't have the answer for you, then I can get your question or concern to the right person and get back to you. And that is what I have for today. I know that's a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff going on with this project. So I think now we're going to do some Q&A, and without me getting too scroll happy here.
Chris, do you see the 2 questions so far in the Q&A slide?
I do. I see. Okay. So I'm going to, I'm just testing this really quick. Marvin, are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Great to know that Marvin's with me. Okay. So the first question is from Kelly Parma, and she asks, why are there 2 stations in Addison that appear to be relatively close to each other? That is a great question. So let's scroll all the way back to that map there without overloading my aging computer. There we go. Okay, so you can see here, wait, okay. So this right here is technically North Dallas. This is the Knoll Trail Station. And this line right here is actually the border. That's with the toll road. The Dallas North Tollway is the separator, the dividing line of Dallas and Addison. So this is technically the Addison station, and that's on the west side of the Dallas North Tollway. And then we have Knoll Trail Station there. That's on the east side. Yes, they are very close to each other. But that's just kind of the way the things kind of lined up there, because in Addison, we already have our transit center right there. And there was actually going to be a couple more stations back in this project's history there in North Dallas, but those were eliminated. And so we still just have the Knoll Trail Station. So yes, they are pretty close together, but they are in 2 different cities, just for the formal answer there. And the next question, and okay, I hope
it's Boro. It's Boro.
Okay, Boro. Most names I'm pretty good at, but I got very intimidated by that one. I said, there's no way I'm going to get this one right. But will there be an option for a future station near Coit Road to accommodate the large number of current DART bus riders in this area? Okay, well, a second ago I had just mentioned that there were some other stations there in North Dallas that had been eliminated, and there was going to be a station, the Coit Road station, and so that station is no longer going to exist, and so there is no plans for a future station near Coit Road. But I will say this. Okay, now I want to go back to my map here because there are a lot of people who, Knoll Trail, really, there's no parking there. There is some planned parking, nothing that I can 100% comment on and confirm today. But when you think of parking at a lot of our stations, Knoll Trail is really, it's a station to be dropped off, be picked up, and also it's just for the kind of the people there who can walk up to it. UT Dallas, on the other hand, is going to have a large amount of parking. And which is good because it's at a college, but it's not just limited to students. So do not worry, anyone, and that's very close to Coit. So that's what I try to let people know who are in that area, who were not happy that the Coit station was put on the chopping block and who were really excited to ride. I just say, UT Dallas is not far. And you will not get a ticket from UT Dallas parking police. You'll be able to park there freely. And so that's just probably the next best thing for anyone who's wanting to park at the station and use the line. And a question here from, Anonymous. Will all the stations have parking? No, I kind of just touched on that. Some of our stations have more parking than others. City Line Bush there, that'll tap into existing parking for the City Line Bush. Red Line, Shiloh Road being a terminus station that has a lot of parking. But then some of our stations, like I said, like Knoll Trail, there's not a dedicated parking area. And that's really the same along our rail line. Because, we have a lot of parking at Mockingbird Station, but then you go up north, one station at Lover's Lane, and it's just called a kiss and ride. It's just meant for people to get dropped off and get on the train. And so we have no parking there. Let's see. Will the entire Cotton Belt Trail be built with the Silver Line, or will there be missing segments? Marvin, I might lean on you just a little bit. Right now, I know that everything is still being worked on. We are not 100% complete on the design. The design is being worked on and making sure that everything is connected. Marvin, is there anything you can help me out with on this one? I am going to lean on Marvin a little bit for some of these, and if not, again, we can come back to you.
So the answer, you hit on the answer a little bit, that it's still in design, but portions of it are not all contained within the right of way. Like we know in Coppell, there are some existing trails that'll tie into, deviate off, go through the cities and come back. So the NTC COG and the cities have some say in a lot to how the trail is designed, but we're still in the design phase. So we don't have a solid answer on that right now.
Yeah, more to come on.
This is Brian Schuster. I'll just add in, because I was on a recent call. There are sections of the Cotton Belt Trail that are unfunded right now. So I think some people are trying to work through the funding to make that happen.
Yeah, funding, definitely trying to get that lined up, and this is one of those things where I know that everyone's just kind of keeping the fingers crossed, keep moving forward so we can get this thing to the vision of what it's supposed to be. So more to come on that. The cities and the COG and DART and AWH are all working together. We have a lot of people in the room together for each segment of the trail for their city, making all of these dots connect. But please tune in to our February quarterly meeting, and hopefully we'll have some new good stuff to share with you all on that. That also probably will that Greg's, the anonymous and Greg Royster's questions kind of intersected there. So hopefully that kind of answers both of theirs. And I don't want to try to rush through anyone's questions. So if there's more information you want, just let me know. I have Curtis Jarecki, will overnight parking be permitted for someone using the line to get to DFW Airport? Yes, you can leave your car overnight. Just make sure you lock your doors and take everything. It's one of those things that you can park your car and leave it overnight, but we do not. DART is not responsible for your vehicle, but no vehicles are towed. I say that the only time vehicles are towed from our stations are when you have gasoline leaking out from your car, and then yes, you might have an issue when you come back to your vehicle. And what's the status regarding a further extension to the east? Because, okay, I like that question, because that means that someone here knows that this line goes out to Wiley, and which kind of goes out to my neck of the woods, because I'm in Rockwall and I hang out in Wiley some, which is funny. I grew up in the middle of Dallas, so these places seemed so far off from me growing up, and now they're in my backyard. And it's actually really funny when I'm in Wiley and I see the line, and I know that is the extension of, or it is the Cotton Belt line. Unfortunately, Wiley is not part of the DART service area. And so it's one of the situations where if Wiley and DART were to come into an agreement, and Wiley said down the road, we want to become part of the DART service area, and we work out the sales tax issues and all that, and the financials, and Wiley becomes part of the DART service area, never say never. It would be a long time from now. But there's no reason why at some point down the road, this Silver Line couldn't extend all the way out to Wiley, but there are no plans for that now. That is one of those things where it's not impossible. It's just not on the radar for now. Another thing that I always like to talk about and think about is how the red line going north from Parker Road, DART owns the alignment all the way up to Sherman, Texas. That kind of blows people's minds when they think about it. And so we own the alignment, but of course we cannot run the line through those cities because they are not part of the DART service area. But the goal and the intention is that down the road, as this DFW Metroplex keeps growing and growing and growing, that cities will join on down the road, and then the logistics and the infrastructure is there with the line. So Wiley residents very well someday could have an extension of the Silver Line, but more to come on that one, but probably way down the road. Scott said or asked or he requested, please share the PowerPoint after the meeting. That is not a problem. So I will definitely do that.
We will, if you'll send that PowerPoint to me, we'll get it posted to our website.
Sounds good. Not a problem. Not a problem.
All right. Does anyone else have any other questions that they'd like to ask at this time?
So we had one question come in ahead of time into our email address. What improvements will be made to pedestrian connectivity on both sides of the rail line at stations such as UTD?
Marvin, can I lean on you for this one? That's one of those things where I want to make sure that the best information gets presented.
Again, a lot of that's still in design, although the station itself is designed. A lot of the pedestrian and coordinated work with UTD is working. But like if you go back to the UTD schematic, you'll see on the school side, it's a well-developed pedestrian access. And if you know that area, there's some kind of student housing on the what's that, south side, I guess, already constructed. So it's a lot of access, a lot of pedestrian activity there. On the north side, it's some ongoing UTD activity, like there's active construction right now. So that coordination is still happening as far as what that pedestrian access will look like, specific to the UTD station. And the rest, those intersections at most of the other stations and crossings even for the to accommodate for the future trail per se, are still in the design phase. So as we are well down the road on design, it has mostly to do with tracks in the station. So some of the pedestrian and that interaction is still in the design phase. But there'll be plenty of sidewalks, crossings, gates, arms, alarms, lights, and what have you, unless there's a specific question there. And then all that's wrapped into there'll be even more with the hike and bike trail as far as pedestrian activity relative to the stations.
Oh, you know what? Okay. Yeah, you know
No one can
what?
say it better.
Right,
That
it
is,
doesn't-
that is,
We need to probably go back.
It doesn't appear to be any further questions. Joe or Chad, do you want to?
So yeah, we will be posting this recording of this meeting to our Dallas Tech Site YouTube account, which we have linked on our website. Meetings from last year are also posted there. We will also be posting the PDH and the PowerPoint from Chris to the website as well. Those will likely go up sometime next week. So we will keep an eye there, and once we have that up, we will let you know.
and I'll just throw in one more thing, and I really appreciate being able to present to you all today, and thank you for letting me get on here with you all. Again, my email is cwalters@dart.org. And until I am allowed to get back to my office and be there on a daily basis, that is the best way to get a hold of me. We also, in 2021, we are working very hard to want to have presentations like this one. We have lots of quarterly meetings and things of that nature. And we've had, our design betterments, but we want to meet with groups. And so if you, after this meeting, think of a neighborhood group, an HOA, civic organization, anyone who is interested, and that goes for all of our cities, by the way, and because I'm not the only rep who is doing these presentations. If you want us to come present to another group, please feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. We want to talk to as many people as possible this year, so everyone is in the know on what's going on with the Silver Line.
Chris, we want to
All
thank
right.
you for presenting to us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chris, I know you're dealing with Brian regarding some of the Silver Line, but as an employee of the city of Dallas, I will be working with you in DART as well regarding a lot of the improvements to the infrastructure through our city as well. So
Thank you all for the hard work y'all put in from your all sides with everything. This is a team effort.
it is. All right, everybody. I'd like to thank you all for coming to our meeting. Our next meeting is February 12th, and I hope to see many of you at that one as well. Thanks, everybody.